This is a quote from Albert Einstein. No problem can be solved at the same level of consciousness that created it. These are the first words in my book. I quote Albert because a lot of people think he's a bright, smart guy. He was. He came up with some really innovative things. I'm going to mention a few things as we talk today. But this idea that we have to change our consciousness is something that we really don't think much about. We have a problem now. I think everybody in here knows what that is. I don't really need to talk about the problem. Maybe we can talk about the solution. But we will not solve a problem until we change our consciousness. And why don't we work on that? Why don't we begin that process right now? So the way I'd like to begin to talk about it is with time. And in particular, what I call the time paradox. Time is a very interesting thing, and I'd like to ask you to do something right now with respect to time. I'd like you to become a time traveler. Now you might say, well, I can't do that. Sure you can. You have an imagination. Most of us that are healthy have a very good imagination. And in our imagination, we can go anywhere, anytime. We have that power. Now I want you to imagine, again, you don't even have to close your eyes to do this. Imagine what it would be like if Jesus could walk in right now. The physical person that was born and those things hadn't happened to him, and he could walk into this place right now. How old would he be? Let's say we're going to have a birthday cake for him. How many candles would be on that birthday cake? Anybody want to guess? 2020. 2020, that's a good guess. Anybody else? Any other numbers come to mind?
2053.
Okay, there you go. Well, 2020 is a pretty good guess, right? Because you're right, it is our year. But we'd be wrong, maybe. The fact is, we really don't know. Currently, historians estimate that he was actually born -4, so 4 years before 0. Now, do they know for sure? I don't know how they know. I didn't study it that much. But the 2020 is not correct. Isn't that interesting? I think it is. But Happy New Year, again, belatedly. But it's a really interesting year. It's getting really interesting now. But not too long ago, we had an extra day in February. Why did we have that extra day?
Because our calendars were inaccurate.
Calendars aren't working too well, are they? All right, first of all, 4 years off. But also, we've got to add an extra day every 4 years, right? Does everybody agree with that? Anybody disagree that we don't have to add every 4 years? Anybody disagree with me on that? Well, it's not true. We don't add every 4 years. This may be hard to believe, but if the year is divisible by 100, then we don't add an extra day. Except if that year is divisible by 400. So to make it very confusing for you, the year 2000 was a leap year. The year 1900 was not. 2100 will not be. Now, this is really strange, right? But and just to make it even, we just celebrated the President's Day, Washington's birthday. Did you know that George Washington was born on February 11th, 1731, and he was born on February 22nd, 1732? Because there were 2 calendars then. You may not know that, but back in the 1500s, the Catholic Church converted the calendar by Pope Gregory. So the Gregorian calendar is different than the Julian calendar. Great Britain did not listen to what the Pope said, and neither did her colonies. And we're part of the colonies, and they were on the Julian calendar. Eventually, we decided to change, but it was very confusing. Why all this? Well, let's talk a little bit about time. What is time?